institutions resist internal reform. Reform explodes entrenched systems. Lethal Exit, in theaters now.
Something just happened inside the FBI that has Washington on edge. Deputy Director Dan Bongino, he's leaving the bureau, and the timing tells you everything. Months ago, he reportedly clashed with top Justice Department officials over the abrupt closure of the Epstein investigation. That's when the resignation rumors started swirling, and now it's official. 8 FBI sources confirmed his exit, his office getting cleaned out, and the deep state's breathing a sigh of relief. But really, should they? Because Dan Bongino is about to get his microphone back, and he knows exactly where all the bodies are buried. Now, for what's at stake, for months, Bongino operated inside the most powerful law enforcement agency on earth with one mission: clean house and solve cases the system buried. He gave up his media empire. He uprooted his family. He spent months isolated in Washington, separated from his wife, staring at 4 walls while doing the work Kash Patel and President Trump asked him to do. The reported clash over Epstein wasn't a minor disagreement. It was a battle over whether the American people would ever learn the truth about the most protected criminal network in modern history. And shortly after that, confrontation whispers about his departure began. The implications are enormous. You see, if Bongino was pushed towards the exit because he got too close to protected interests, it means the deep state is still calling the shots. If he left because the mission is complete, we deserve to know what was accomplished. Either way, a man who saw everything from inside is about to speak freely again. And some breaking news on the weight loss front. We've all seen the headlines about Ozempic and those so-called miracle shots, but here's what Big Pharma won't tell you. A major new analysis found that people who stopped taking injections like Ozempic gained back nearly all their weight within a year. These drugs only work while you're on them. They're expensive, and the moment you stop, your body fights back hard. And that's why I'm excited to tell you about BioTrust GLP-1 Elevate at trustwithgary.com. It naturally triggers the same hunger-controlling signals without needles, prescriptions, or scary side effects. It promotes fullness, reduces hunger hormones, and supports fat loss instead of muscle loss. Right now, you get 40% off at trimwithgary.com with a 60-day guarantee and free shipping. Plus, BioTrust donates donates a meal, not a kid, to nokidhungry.org with every order. So head to trimwithgary.com and grab some for yourself. Now, here's where the story takes a darker turn. Independent reporters have started connecting Bongino's departure to unresolved cases the corporate press won't touch. Questions about delayed evidence, missing surveillance footage, and foreign intelligence involvement are circulating yet again. The same names, the same patterns, the same silence from the Bureau. Enrique Tarrio, who spent 40 months in prison for a crime he didn't commit, weighed in with a pointed message. He doesn't want to hear complaints about 10 months of sacrifice when he stared at four walls for over 3 years. The pressure inside that building must have been immense. John Solomon reports that Bongino did the job he was asked to do: get rid of the bad eggs and solve the cases. But which cases? And what did he find? Now, I want to go to, this is the moment that we, this is back in July when the rumors started swirling. Lindell TV writes, FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino sparks resignation rumors amid Epstein case fallout. Bongino took the day off on Friday following a heated White House clash with Pam Bondi over the Justice Department's abrupt closure of the Epstein case, igniting speculation that he resigned. While Trump's administration official denied his departure, insiders describe rising internal tensions between the FBI and DOJ. At the center of the firestorm is a missing minute in the newly released surveillance from Epstein's cell, which Bongino reportedly approved for release. Bongino, once a vocal critic of Epstein cover-ups, now faces backlash for the very oversight he once condemned as pressure mounts on Bondi for overpromising a non-existent client list. All leading up to an alleged dramatic meeting with Bondi, Bongino, and top officials, reportedly ending with Bongino storming out of D.C. This is the first major fracture inside President Trump's appointed law officials, or the beginning of something bigger brewing in the swamp. Now, again, that was posted by Lindell TV on July 11th. And now Bongino has resigned. Just a few hours ago, Mike Davis joined Real America's News. And he writes on X, he says, cheers to FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino, a true warrior and friend. He went in to drive bold reforms, and he did just that. He left money on the table to serve. Now he will fight through media and build more warriors. That was always the plan. Let's listen.
FBI Deputy Director
Dan Bongino tenders his resignation within the first 10 months. I think Dan got there, I think in February, March. Your thoughts, sir?
I would say cheers to FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino. He's a warrior. He's a friend. He went to the FBI for a short stint to bring much needed, bold, serious reforms to the FBI. He never intended to stay beyond January. He's told me that privately for many, many, many months. He left a lot of money on the table to go do this government service. He's going to go back and play a crucial role on the outside by continuing his conservative media, his podcast, and other media outlets that he runs to make sure that we have more warriors on the outside. This has always been Dan Bongino's plan, and we should thank him for his service.
Dan Bongino.
And we do thank him for his service. Let's dive deeper. FBI Director Dan Bongino leaving the Bureau in January after speculation rose this week concerning his departure.
And said that we got some breaking news just coming in that Dan Bongino just put in his resignation for the FBI and said that he will be stepping down in January. Now, I got to be honest with you, I'm not too surprised over this, as I heard the rumblings, what is happening behind closed doors, that Danny has not been happy. And I get it. Danny's a no fuck around type of guy. He wants everything to be done right and smoothly, and no politics involved. And I get it. He is a true patriot.
Definitely is. Emerald Robinson reported on September 17th, Bongino leaving the FBI as the FBI's cover-up of the Charlie Kirk assassination starts falling apart at the seams. Now, I don't think there was a cover-up in the Charlie Kirk assassination. I do not follow that narrative, so I'm not going to give that guy any time. 24 hours ago, Lincoln Square, 8 FBI sources report that Dan Bongino, they write, podcaster, conspiracist. Unreal. And current FBI deputy director is leaving the Bureau. His office is reportedly cleaned out. Will he return to podcasting and spill the tea on the lawless regime? Let's see how MS Now spins it.
That's right. Bongino has told a number of colleagues and his close staff that he's gone, essentially. He's going to announce it fairly soon. We've reported that some of his effects have been moved out of his office. That's according to more than 8 people that we've talked to. Look, everybody I've spoken to at the FBI believes he's gone. He didn't comment on it. But look, he's been an incredibly controversial pick for deputy director. That's a job has always in history been reserved for a career FBI agent. Dan Bongino was not that. He was a Secret Service agent for a while, and then he became a right-wing podcaster. He was not popular inside the FBI. He was not popular with the Justice Department and with Attorney General Pam Bondi, and they had some clashes over the handling of the Epstein files. And now it appears that he is gone. One thing he can point to, he did try to put pressure on the FBI to try to solve the case of the pipe bombs planted outside RNC and DNC headquarters before January 6th, and the Bureau did solve that case based on career investigators. So he is taking credit for that. I should say, though, that the suspect that they've arrested and named does not support the conspiracy theories that Bongino was advocating as a podcaster when he said that the FBI...
Okay, all right, yeah. Conspiracy theories. Here's John Solomon reporting Bongino will be leaving. He says it's been planned for a while, and he'll be going back to his radio show. Like I said, those early rumors are now panning out to be true. That was just the early rumblings.
In January, I think that.
Before we go, if you don't mind, you're very close to Kash Patel. You have great access. Dan Bongino, good friend of mine. I keep reading these articles that he's finished. He may be leaving.
Yeah.
I texted him last night.
I think he'll leave in January officially. I think he's probably on holiday soon, but I think he'll leave in January. I think that's the current plan. By the way, that's been the plan for some time, since the summer. He wanted to get the January 6th pipe bomb investigation done and some other things. He wanted to get the ship righted. But, he had a burgeoning radio empire that had to be put on hold, and that's never a good thing for your business. So I think he did the job that Kash Patel and the president asked him to do. Get the organization uprighted, get rid of the bad eggs, at least some of the bad eggs or many of the bad eggs, solve some of these lingering issues like the January 6th case, and then go back to your job if you want to. And I think history will look back and say it was short, but we got a lot done in that time frame. Meanwhile, Kash Patel.
At the same time, think about Elon Musk goes in for a few months, and what does he do? He cleans house in the government, like severely cleans house. Dan Bongino goes in, helps clean house at the FBI. I don't know who this is. Well, this is the Bongino report. Oh, this is official.
Bongino put this. Do we have some breaking? Did something happen today? Do we have some breaking news? I think we do. So, Deputy Director of the FBI, Dan Bongino, put this out on X. He said this: I will be leaving my position with the FBI in January. I want to thank President Trump, Attorney General Bondi, and Director Patel for the opportunity to serve with purpose. Most importantly, I want to thank you, my fellow Americans, for the privilege to serve you. God bless America and all those who defend her. American flag emoji, of course, his iconic sign off. And President Trump was asked about this. He also confirmed, watch this.
Oh, Dan did a great job. I think he wants to go back to his show.
Well, as for next steps, I am not going to get in front of Dan.
Sure, he's going to be starting up his show, and I'm sure it's going to be awesome. Every major outlet covered this. Fox News.
For the opportunity. Deputy FBI Director Dan Bongino announcing on X just moments ago he is leaving the Bureau in January. He added this: I want to thank President Trump, AG Bondi, and Director Patel for the opportunity to serve with purpose. Most importantly, I want to thank you, my fellow Americans, for the privilege to serve you. God bless America and all those who defend her. Deputy FBI Director Dan.
Here is Wall Street Mav. Bongino leaving the FBI. The deep state is winning. That's what they believe. Enrique Tarrio says there are service members that are deployed longer than 10 months on a battlefield. It's hard on them and their families. I don't want to hear it. I stared at 4 walls in a prison for 40 months for a crime I did not commit. It was hard on my family, and I don't want to hear it. The American people suffered for 4 years under a president that used the entire apparatus of the FBI to put them away for their political beliefs. I don't want to hear it. As deputy director of the most powerful law enforcement agency in the world, he was given the opportunity to right those wrongs, to end the weaponization of government. He instead wanted to go back to podcasting. I don't want to hear it, Tarrio continues. Many on here say his first episode is going to be fire. Tell that to the families of 1,600 people who suffered and cried for 4 years. Oh, that doesn't piss you off? How about the people that tried to put away our president for the rest of his life, and not a single one of those perpetrators are behind bars? And he's got a good point. We're still waiting for the perp walks. As a matter of fact, these people have been promoted, he says, by the FBI. People like S.A. Nicholas Haneke or S.A. Nicole Miller. So spare me the violins. I don't give an F about the things you say on the mic and the strongly worded letters. I care about performance and results. And with Dan Bongino, we got neither. We deserve what's coming for trusting people like Bongino. We deserve all the weaponization and misery we're going to get when the Democrats get back in power. Not because we're wrong, but because we failed to act. Because we celebrate failure. We don't hold our friends that are public servants to the standard. Bookmark this: when Democrats lock up your friends and family for wrongthink. Will you remember Dan's sacrifices? I don't want to hear it. He was quote tweeting Brandon Tatum, who posted a video of Bongino on the Fox morning program, stating he gave up everything for this job.
You know, we love each other. I mean, I gave up everything for this. I mean, you know, my wife is struggling. I'm not a victim. I'm not Jim Comey. It's fine. I did this, and I'm proud I did it. But if you think we're there for tea and crumpets, well, I mean, Kash is there all day. We share it. Our offices are linked. He turns on the faucet. I hear it. He's there he gets in at like 6 o'clock in the morning. He doesn't leave till 7 at night. You know, I'm in there at 7:30 in the morning. He uses the gym. I work out in my apartment. But I stare at these 4 walls all day in D.C., you know, by myself, divorced from my wife. Not divorced, but I mean separated, divorced. And it's hard. I mean, you know, we love each other, and it's hard to be apart.
But you're doing some great work. You're straightening out at the FBI. You're moving buildings. There's a lot of change.
So Tarrio, not pleased Let's get the full remarks from President Trump.
I think Dan did a great job. I think he wants to go back to his show.
Dan did a great job. You see, President Trump himself addressed the departure, praising Bongino's work, suggesting he simply wants to go back to his show. But here's the thing the deep state doesn't understand. Sometimes you could do more damage from behind the microphone than you ever could from inside the building. I know this firsthand. Bongino he's going back with knowledge, with scars, and with stories the American people have never heard. The Bureau knows it, the DOJ knows it, the Epstein clash months ago started this chain of events, and now the man who lived it is about to have a platform again. And the truth is still waiting to explode. So what you're witnessing is a pressure fracture inside the federal law enforcement apparatus. Dan Bongino didn't take the job for fame or money. He already had both. He took it because he believed the mission, and the mission mattered. He sacrificed everything to root out corruption from within. Months ago, he clashed with the Justice Department leadership over Epstein, and that's when the exit whispers began. And here at Next News Network, we always bring you the truth, and the truth is this. Sometimes the microphone is mightier than the badge. Just like me, Bongino can do more damage to the deep state from behind this mic than he ever could inside their walls. The American people deserve answers about what he found and why the Epstein file got slammed shut so early. So here's my question, though, tonight. Do you believe Dan Bongino accomplished his mission, or was he pushed out? Drop your answer in the comments. And visit the Next News merch shop. It's linked in the description to gear up and show your support.